3.3 FM.
First entertainment station in Nigeria.
Good morning, Nigeria. Welcome to Press Drive on I-FLIER 103.3 FM.
Yes, a beautiful morning to you out there. It's good to know that you're right there listening to I-FLIER 103.3 FM Ibadan, the perfect choice station for the high flyers. Thank you very much. Welcome to the second edition of Press Drive in the month of April 2025. And let me say Happy New Month to you. Welcome to the new month of April. And I pray that every good thing that you desire will be yours in this new month. And of course, make sure you do what you're supposed to do in the new month. Time waits for no man. Remember that. I have the Punch and the Nation newspapers this morning. Let's delve into the headlines of the newspapers with me, and then we'll move to details of the stories we want to look at this morning. I am your driver. ESTHER ATILOLA is my name. Our analyst is right here, Honorable Femi Adebisi. When it's time, you get to hear his voice. Remember, you can be a part of the conversation on Press Drive. You can call the studio lines, which are open when it's time. You can watch us live on our Facebook page at I-FLIER 103.3 FM Live. At I-FLIER 103.3 FM Live. Like, share, follow us. And if you want to react to the stories this morning, do feel free to drop your comment right there. All right, let's start with the Punch newspaper this morning. Let's go through some of its headlines. And one of the top headlines right there says, Natasha defies ban, gets heroic welcome in Kogi State. Natasha defies ban, gets heroic welcome in Kogi State. Tinubu sacks NNPCL boss Kyari, names Ojulari as replacement. President Tinubu sacks NNPCL boss Kyari, names Ojulari as replacement. Jonathan has set example in political maturity, says council. Jonathan has set example in political maturity, says council. Insecurity, states vote 214 billion naira for arms, others. Insecurity, state vote 214 billion naira for arms, others. Kogi accuses Natasha of inciting violence, urges security agencies to take action. Kogi accuses Natasha of inciting violence, urges security agencies to take action. Federal government threatens to revoke dormant oil blocks licenses. Federal government threatens to revoke dormant oil blocks licenses. Reps indict Hajj Commission over 90 billion naira subsidy. Reps indict Hajj Commission over 90 billion naira Hajj Commission. Hajj subsidy, I beg your pardon. Away from that, still on the Punch newspaper, I would have handled economy better than Tinubu, says Peter Obi. I would have handled economy better than Tinubu, says Obi. Federal government to tighten border as NIS arrests 51 illegal immigrants. Federal government to tighten border as NIS arrests 51 illegal immigrants. Still on the Punch newspaper, Edo State, APC and PDP dismiss Judgment League as tribunal rules today. APC PDP dismissed judgment leak as tribunal rules today. Senate leader advocates more investment in education. Senate leader advocates more investment in education. In Oyo State, Governor Makinde to remodel I-FLIER market over fire outbreak. Makinde to remodel I-FLIER market over fire outbreak. Ebonyi governor orders 6 commissioners arrest over contract sabotage. Ebonyi governor orders 6 commissioners arrest over contract sabotage. Durbar ban. Sanusi visits governor, avoids traditional horse ride. Durbar ban. Sanusi visits governor, avoids traditional horse ride. Osun APC chieftain urges pension scheme reform. Osun APC chieftain urges pension scheme reform. Now let's go through the last set of headlines on the Punch newspaper this morning because they're a whole lot. PDP tackles Abdul Razak for scrapping Saraki's project. PDP tackles Abdul Razak for scrapping Saraki's project. Northern elders commend President Tinubu and Matawale over improved security. Northern elders commend Tinubu, Matawale over improved security. Nigeria fortunate to have Tinubu as president. This is coming from Bosun Tijani. Nigeria fortunate to have Tinubu as president, Bosun Tijani says. And of course, he said a couple of other things. Still on the Punch newspaper this morning, or let me say, finally on the Punch newspaper this morning, Kogi accuses Natasha of inciting violence, urges security agencies to take action. I think I read that earlier. Let me pick this. Obi, FRSC zonal boss, visit Katsina governor over mother's death. Obi, FRSC zonal boss, visit Kaduna governor over mother's death. Finally, to the Nation newspaper this morning, President Tinubu appoints Bayo Ojulari as new group CEO for NNPC. Tinubu appoints Bayo Ojulari as new group CEO for NNPC. 5 major banks declare 4.56 trillion naira full year profit. 5 major banks declare 4.56 trillion naira full year profit. Drill or lose your oil wells, federal government warns. Drill or lose your oil wells, federal government warns. Immigration arrests 51 illegal immigrants in Nasarawa State. Immigration arrests 51 illegal migrants in Nasarawa State. Other headlines on the Nation newspaper this morning includes GOC to troops, be honest, fair with civilians. GOC to troops, be honest, fair with civilians. Report on CGC's tenure extension falls. Report on CGC's tenure extension falls. House Committee opts for alternative dispute resolution. House Committee opts for alternative dispute resolution. Still on the Nation newspaper this morning, going through some of its headlines. Edo State Tribunal rules Wednesday, that's today, in Igodalo's and Okpebolo's petitions. Tribunal rules today in Igodalo's and Okpebolo's petitions. Ponzi scheme operators risk 10-year jail term, 20 million naira fine. Ponzi scheme operators risk 10-year jail term, 20 million naira fine. And going through the last of headlines on the Nation newspaper this morning. Shaibu advocates active roles for deputy governors. Shaibu advocates active roles for deputy governors. And finally, on the Nation newspaper this morning, Why I stayed away from Agodi Eid since 2011, says Ladoja. Why I stayed away from Agodi Eid since 2011, says Ladoja. And that's how far with the headlines of the newspapers with me this morning. Sorry, I'm saying another one. Bill seeking to peg age limit for president and governor undemocratic, says group. Bill seeking to peg age limit for president, governor undemocratic, says group. Petrol prices will drop to 750 naira before end of 2025, NIPSS says. Petrol prices will drop to 750 naira before end of 2025, NIPSS says. And of course, NIPSS said some other things we will check out when we're going through details of the stories we want to look at this morning. We're done with the headlines. Let's move to that. Joining me for analysis is Honorable Femi DBC. Good morning. Welcome to Press Drive.
Good morning, my driver, Esther. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine,
I don't think we have luxury of time this morning. Maybe we should just kick off and
yes, let's move to that.
You know.
Yes. Yeah. All right. Thank you very much. Remember, you can be a part of the conversation on Press Drive. You can call the studio lines, which are open when it's time. You can watch us live on our Facebook page at I-FLIER 103.3 FM live. Like, share, follow us. We'll appreciate that. Let's start with this story. President Tinubu sacks NNPCL boss. Kyari names Ojulari as the new CEO or MD. And let me first ask this before I read this story. Did you see this coming? So let me read the story.
Well, I think that is expected anyway.
You expected it?
That has been the yearning of an average Nigerian, for a long time now. But unfortunately, it's a statutory position whereby you get a term. So the moment you finish up with your term, it is obligatory if your term is renewed. So staying there, I think it is tied to the expiration of his tenure. So of course, I don't know when it is ending, but I think it's about time anyway. So of course, he has to be replaced.
All right, let's come to this also. Federal government threatens to revoke dormant oil blocks licenses. And that's the Minister of State Petroleum Resources, Oil, Senator Heineke Lokobiri, threatened to withdraw oil blocks from owners that have failed to develop them. And this is against the backdrop of the federal government calling on international oil companies operating in Nigeria to ramp up investment in the country's oil and gas sector, emphasizing that the current administration has provided every necessary incentive to ensure seamless and profitable operations.
Oh yeah, I think we have abundance of oil, domiciled especially in the river lines, that is Niger Delta region, even down to Lagos, down to Ondo State. So, and at these times, we need to step up our crude oil production to meet up with the challenges of getting more money into the federation, one, servicing our debt, two, and probably, getting enough for local consumption. So those three tied together, I think it is high time that we step up, production. And in doing so, there are oil blocks that are dormant. Yes, that are not yet executed despite despite being licensed long time ago. One of them is Malabu oil that has been contentious over time, and is one of the biggest anyway. So you remember that it was unduly allocated to Abacha, which was transferred to I think Etete. All those all those messes. To the extent that it has to go for a kind of international litigation and a whole lot of things around it. So I think the earlier they sort out issues around it and get into operation will benefit the country in a whole lot of ways. So I think we should, if we are going to break even in this country, we need to produce up to about 5 million. That is if OPEC quota will permit that. And if they don't, yes, there is what you call OPEC quota, and there is what you call half OPEC quota. So let that remain with us here. and let us have enough for local refining, so that we will get cheaper oil before the end of the day. Maybe that is what the NIPSS, that is Nigerian Institute of Policies and Strategic Studies, are looking at and say, okay, maybe by the end of 2025, we are likely to get cheaper fuel in the country.
At 750 naira.
At about 750 naira.
Okay.
So maybe that is what they are looking at. If you get enough to meet the OPEC quota,
okay,
which of course we can do. That is if complicity, criminal conspiracy, oil theft, and all that around, our crude oil production is taken care of. Of course, there's nothing that is stopping us from achieving that. Even now, yes, if you set aside a whole lot of bureaucracy and all that and elite conspiracy, I think we can get cheaper oil in the country.
All right, you've addressed the other one I wanted to read earlier, where NIPSS stated that petrol will drop to 750 naira before the end of 2025. Now let's come to what else they have said. Fuel subsidy removal necessary. Nigerians must adjust spending, NIPSS says. The National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies has said the removal of fuel subsidy was a necessary step. The NIPSS urged the Nigerians to endure the current economic hardship. Speaking on Chinese televisions, the morning brief yesterday, the Director General of NIPSS, Ayo Omotayo, stated that while the impact may be tough now, the decision will benefit the country in the long run. He acknowledged that the gains might not be immediately visible, but emphasized that in the long run, we will recover whatever sacrifices we have made today as Nigerians. Okay, so this is coming from NIPS. This is not the first time we're hearing Nigerians should endure, Nigerians should cut spending. At this time, in fact, I had to check the date. I mean, is it a new story or this is something that happened before?
No,
but it is a new story.
New. Is this something new from Omotayo? I don't know whether he's speaking for himself or whether he's speaking for the Nigerian Institute of Policies and Strategic Studies. I don't know now, but of course he's a member of that place. So, they are a research institute, and most of their assertions and whatever they posit, comes from a whole lot of research. And in most cases, in research findings, of course, you might not get down to the root before you collect your indices and come to a kind of conclusion before you make a pronouncement. Well, of course, I don't know how far they have gone. I don't know how efficient their data happen to be. But be that as it may, you find out that when you say that fuel subsidy is removed, the manner at which it was removed, people need to speak the truth. It is quite undemocratic. Okay. Because this is not a dictatorial nation. If a president lack that capacity to do so, yes, you don't have executive council in place, you don't have the National Assembly inaugurated, no consultation with any Nigerian, and then you make a pronouncement and it stands. So it shows you the kind of democracy you are running in the country. And I keep saying, if you want to kill a rat, you have to make sure that you tidy up, all those delicate things within the room. Otherwise, you begin to break valuable things. And that is what we have done. And that is the reason why things are happening the way it is happening. Of course, it's not a crime we want to remove fuel subsidy. That is if all of us are centered to that. Okay. And because if you say we want to do so, we'll ask you in what manner. So when you remove, where is the gain going to? Who is managing it in trust for all of us? So are you going to create an institution for the management like PTF? And not only that, is it going to be a gradual one or an immediate one? If it's going to be an immediate one, yes, how do we cushion the effect? So all those questions will be asked, we'll debate it. It's a nation, it's a democracy. Okay, but it came just emotionally, and that was that. So it shouldn't, of course, if you have a house that is okay, yes, of course it will be challenged and debated. That, look, this is our country. So you don't it's a disaster of good intention. All right. Because the president might mean well, but it's a disaster of good intention. That is one. And of course, if the president, he mentioned two things then. He said, of course, our subsidized oil, you can see them outside the country. So we cannot be subsidizing other country. Whose fault is that? You have the instrument to checkmate, illegal movement of your fuel. So what are you doing? Why do you have all of them around? Why do we pay them? So you cannot, of course, that is one. And two, something led us to all those things. They said that all those money were going to, wrong hands. Which wrong hands? That is theft. And of course, we have documents that shows that. I mean, in the I think 7th and 8th Assembly, they've talked about it, and of course, we got to know that there are lists of several companies, in fact, illegal companies. Who was paying them? All of those things were happened via bank transactions. Where are those people that are liable? Did you bother to even go into that and probably bring them to book? Because you cannot be getting money and begin to pour them into empty basket, and that is what we have been doing. We have been saving money, but of course only to get them wasted and ended up maybe in the mouth of rats or crocodile or monkey or whatever, and nobody talks about that. And when you bring them to book, somebody will just faint, and that is the end of that particular case. So I think if you steal my money and you say, okay, please bear it, okay, what happened to the thief? And I, the owner, is now beginning to now repay that particular debt, because what you are doing is that the money those people stole, we are now the one paying back by not enjoying the dividends we are supposed to enjoy via subsidy, because it's a legitimate right. That is the dividend you get. It comes in form of social security sometimes. It comes in form of a whole lot of ways it comes. So that is the immediate thing we get as what you call dividend of democracy, subsidized energy. In fact, not only that, is an economic strategy to make sure that you are industrialized, to make sure that people are engaged, to make sure that there is security in the land. Because the moment you get your fuel, your energy subsidized, the tendency is there that you become a productive nation. And when you are productive, more money will come. People will be empowered. Family will run. Education will run. And that is the price we are paying now. Forgetting that particular oil subsidy. So now look at it again. I think IMF spoke. They said that they are not responsible for our problem some time ago. That is it's your government, because their prescription was not that subsidy should be removed at once. That was not their prescription. He said that their prescription worked in Ghana, worked in the Philippines, and several other countries, but it fails in Nigeria. Why? Because of the manner our president approached the case. So it was just a junk remover. It's like you remove, a life-saving machine from an unconscious patient. What do you expect? So, the way and manner it was done was wrong. It was dictatorial. It was undemocratic. It was illegal. But of course, who is going to challenge that? People that are always there to go. People that prefer to become rats, so that they become they just go about where power is to get their chunks to feed on and all that.
All right, let's come to this, and then we'll come to the Northern Elders. Nigeria fortunate to have Tinubu as president, Bosun Tijani says. The Minister of Communication, Innovation and Digital Economy, Dr. Olatunbo Bosun Tijani, says Nigeria is fortunate to have President Bola Tinubu in the leadership saddle, saying his policies have liberalized education and resolved the fuel subsidy, which was draining the country's resources. Tijani, who spoke with journalists in Abeokuta, Ogun State on Monday, also said his past criticism of President Tinubu and other political leaders in the country were born out of his desire for a better Nigeria. Okay, the minister was in Ogun State for the inauguration of solar-powered community ICT center, facilitated by him and built by the National Information Technology Development Agency for the residents of Abeokuta. Okay, and then they asked him about how he accepted President Tinubu's ministerial appointment, and that was when he came on to say that his past criticism of President Tinubu and other political leaders were born out of his desire for a better Nigeria. But then now he has come to say that President Tinubu, we're fortunate as a nation to have President Tinubu as a leader. What do you think?
At my quiet time, I keep remembering Ganefa Wemi, and I cry. When are we going to get the likes of Ganefa Wemi? Somebody who is a person of ideology, and we stand with his ideology till death comes. And of course, we are yearning. We are saying that, okay, nobody beyond 60 should rule. And that is the class of Bosun. Bosun is, I think, maybe around 50 or thereabout now. We want the youth to take. What kind of youth? Youth that lacks ideology. Youth that lack personality. Youth that lack credibility. Yes, of course, you said he was a major critic of this particular, of our president. that is Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, a major critic. He came up with solid, solid argument against him, against his person, against his kind of style and all that. But of course, he said that then it was in the best interest of Nigeria. Now that it's there, it is against the best interest of Nigeria.
Don't you think now now that because he's now in the system, he now understands how things are done?
When he was saying that it was in the best interest of government, now that is there, it's now against the best interest of Nigeria. That's a question mark. So I want people that will be this. Whatever you are in the morning, that is what you are in the afternoon, and that is what you are in the evening. When it comes to sound ideology, of course, there can be exemption to that. That is if you find out that you have been wrong in the morning. So what is now saying that he heard saying that some time ago. So I can't place the person or the personality of Boson Tijani. I can't place it very well, So, but of course, those are the set of youth you are having. The youth that are looking up for legacy, for opportunities, for employment, rather than looking for personality, rather than looking for, a patriotic, ideology to stand on. So,
okay.
That is what the National Assembly is talking about. That, of course, the youth that have learned all these terrible things from the old ones are the one to, go there. I don't think I fall for it. For me, Boson Tijani, the likes of Reno Omokri, there are so many. Go and check them out. There will be something this hour, the next moment, there are another thing. You see a lot of them now in the corridor of power, here and there. Whatever they said yesterday, they are ready to go back to their vomit and say another thing tomorrow. No, not for me.
All right. Let's come to this very quickly. I would have handled the economy better than Tinubu. Is coming from Peter Obi, candidate of the Labour Party in the 2023 presidential election. Peter Obi on Tuesday accused the President Bola Tinubu administration of being ineffective in implementing economic policies. He revealed this in an interview on Arise News yesterday and also criticized the decision of the president to float the naira in the absence of productivity, while also increasing the country's debt profile and the cost of debt servicing, which he said was above the budgetary allocation for critical sectors like health and education. He asserted that if he were the president, the country would have experienced drastic positive changes in 2 years, as he would have injected money into productivity that would lead to a more productive and sustainable economy. Yeah. So I would have handled the economy better than Tinubu, says Obi.
Well, of course, talk is free. You can say anything. And if wishes were horses, beggars will ride. One thing I want Peter Obi to know today, if he doesn't know, is that power, politics is a game of illusion. It's a game of deceit. We always want to say what the people want to hear and not what they should hear, what they ought to hear. Now, he needs to understand. Well, I said that, politics is a theater of illusion. In what sense? Like Nigerian governance is so opaque to the extent that, it's like a drama, it's a kind of a stage, a theater where you go and perform. At the back of the scene, at the back of the stage now, that curtain, So you get a producer who fund, you get a director, you get the cast, who are not, they know whom they are. But of course, by the time they go there, they say, okay, you are a carpenter, but by the time you appear there, you are going to appear like a doctor and speak like one. So you don't speak your mind when you become the president. That is the basic truth you need to know today. Maybe he doesn't know whom Bola Ahmed Tinubu is. It's a very sound economy. He knows what he's talking. He knows what he should do, but he dare not do them because there's a producer somewhere, there's a director somewhere that you don't know as an average Nigerian. Because, okay, let me refer you to the front page of Daily Independent, November 20, 2023. Yes, before Bola Ahmed Tinubu assumed office, he has looked into ways of getting enough money, more than enough to run this administration without even paying, without even going for loan at all. Yes, it was confirmed. Go and read it today. Let me repeat. November 20, 2023, Daily Independent. Go and check it out. He gathered people, Wale Edo, Abiru, and all of them. Then he also hired KPMG. They looked into it. How do we get money? And they got more than enough money. and they were to run that government without borrowing.
Okay.
Yes, they said, okay, we are going to unlock over $1 trillion debt capital Nigeria is having. Where is that debt capital? They know where it is. They know how to unlock it. But of course, that was said in November 20.
They choose not to unlock it.
Let me tell you, they wanted to. But of course, something happened somewhere. By the time they want to go for budget, till date, nothing like that happened again. They dare not do that. Why? Because they know how they get into power. They know that there was an agreement. They know that the agreement has to be obeyed. They know that should they err, they'll be removed. So maybe you don't know. And that's why when the wife of Buhari was crying, said, look, Kaba will not allow my husband to function. So, and of course, a lot of dirty things around this country. It's only God. Pastor Adele used to mention that. Only God. Because it is a kind of criminal elite conspiracy against this country. And who is going to unravel the mystery of what you call Kabbalism in this country? Who is going to unravel that? It's a moving train. Should you jump in front of that train, you are crushed. And of course, in politics, they don't just cross, they cross totally. Go and check out. Go and ask Natasha what she's experiencing now.
All right. We're going to come to the Natasha story if time permits us. But then let's look at this from the Northern Elders Forum, and then we'll add it with insecurity. Northern Elders commend Tinubu Matawale over improved security. The Northern Elders Political Development Group has praised President Bola Tinubu, the Minister of State for Defense, Bello Matawale, and the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, for the collaborative effort in enhancing security in the northwest region of Nigeria. In a statement issued by its secretary, Dr. Damugiwa, in Kaduna on Tuesday, the group noted that the majority of towns and villages in the region were able to observe Eid al-Fitr peacefully without any recorded cases of bandit attacks, despite pockets of unrest in Sokoto and Zamfara State. Now, this commendation comes after the successful operation of Fansayama, which led to the destruction of bandit enclaves in some areas of the northwest. Then they said that they believe that the improved security has significantly reduced challenges related to travel and trade, especially along major routes such as Sokoto to Gusau and Kano State. So Northern Elders commend Tinubu Matawale over improved security. Let me add this story to you so you can take it together. In security, states vote 214 billion naira for arms. Others, 35 states voted 214 billion naira for local security outfits, defense initiatives, and the purchase of arms and equipment in the 2025 budget, the Punch report. Despite the substantial funding allocated to eliminate insecurity, no fewer than 367 individuals have been killed during Yuletide and Salah celebrations between 2019 and 2025. Now, the state budgets are contained in Open State, a budget-backed website that serves as a repository of government budget data. Now, the massive vote intended to bolster security nationwide raises critical concerns about the efficacy of these measures as citizens remain increasingly vulnerable to the tide of violence. Okay, and of course it starts to relieve so many other efforts made by the federal government and state government. However, these efforts have not yielded the desired result as criminals continue to operate with impunity, terrorizing the citizens. This is a report from the Punch newspaper. So the headline says, insecurity, states vote 214 billion naira for arms, others. And the other headline, Northern Elders commend Tinubu Matawale over improved security.
Yeah, well, I think, well, that is laughable. That temporary relief does not suggest that insecurity is gone. No, it is not. We still have them around. Maybe they are not on the pages of newspaper, but of course, the one that came shortly on the pages of newspaper was the killing of the so-called classified northern hunters that were killed in Edo State. Of course, they have every reason to say what they are saying because of the response of the government of the day to that, but a lip service response, to that particular incident. I don't know. Well, maybe they get a whole lot of bats now.
Okay.
Bats.
Bats, yes,
maybe they get more than enough of bats around River State. So, and the northerners, they needed bats, so they went there go hunting. So they became hunter, and they, of course, something happened, they were roasted. Of course, one of them was that, look, it's an aberration for people to be roasted. But of course, it's not an aberration for these people to slaughter and shoot human beings. AK-47, AK-48, and of course, now then guns. Are you sure that it's just only then guns? But of course, let us set that one aside. The response of the government, to that incident will make an average northerner to be happy with the government of the day. Yes, and of course, we have made a whole lot of investment. We have pumped a whole lot of money into what you call the fight of insecurity. But one thing I want to tell you today is that you don't fight insecurity to get security. You negotiate it. Yes, of course, they do it in most cases, and it is a whole lot of it is always expensive going that way. Jojo, they say, it's better than war. Okay, what is the issue here? What is the issue there? Okay, what can we do to come to a level playing ground? And let's sort it out. It is less expensive, and it is enduring because you are introducing peace. You don't force peace. If you force it, it's like you are a kind of compressed natural gas into a can. Any moment it can explode, and when it explodes, it will kill in such a manner that negotiation will be impossible. So I think we need to come to a round table. The earlier we do that for this country, the better. That is how to achieve peace. So somebody had mentioned, and I keep repeating, the current Bauchi State Governor said that, look, we need to study what is the anatomy of an average Fulani man. What's their nature? How do we maintain their nature? How do we come to terms with their nature? How do we manage their nature? So, if you fail to do that, you are likely to keep getting problems from time to time. If you don't want cobweb, kill the spider. That is what you should do.
All right, then. Let me see if we have, even though we have actually other stories to look at, but then let's open the phone lines briefly at this point before we go on a break. And then we'll come back to take more calls, go on our Facebook page, check more stories if time permits us. 0705 500 1033, 0905 444 1033, 0705 500 1033, 0905 444 1033 at I-FLIER 103.3 FM live. That's our Facebook handle if you want to react to the stories. Hello, good morning. You're welcome, Pastor Odile.
Yes, ma'am. My honorable sir, good morning, sir.
Good morning, my pastor. How are you, sir?
How's your night, sir?
Yeah, fine, thank you, sir.
You see, my dear honorable,
Yes, sir.
if you have children, it is a 5 or more children, and you try to indulge one of them above other children, there will be a problem. You are talking about how do we talk here, whether that will be children. You see, the kind of indulgence, the kind of privilege that these children are enjoying in Nigeria today is too much. Okay, how can they be allowed to be carrying a dangerous weapon? And somebody will now have a day gun and they will arrest such a person. And we are in the same country. You see that if the government of this country, they are the ones helping them. They are the ones helping them. So there is nothing we can do. The only thing we can do is that let the government withdraw all these undue privileges. This privilege Nigeria is a country for all of us. There is something we call egalitarianism. We must have equal rights. Otherwise, this problem will continue. The time is coming when other tribes they will rise up and defend themselves.
Thank you very much, Pastor Odile. We appreciate your comment. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Queen Esther.
You're welcome, sir.
Yeah, this is Tolu, and I'm calling from Europe.
It's
I
good to have
greet
you.
journalist.
Good morning, my brother Tolu. How are you?
Yes, sir. I'm very well, sir. Yeah, you see, on the edu things, well, just like the last caller has said, it's not a good one, sincerely. And this art is barbaric. That's why we are all condemning it now. Okay. But on the other hand, I think the reason why jungle justice has persisted in the country is because of the level of distrust on the part of the security part. Okay. Because using Oyo State as an instance, if you apprehend a Fulani man in Ibadan now, or let's say, yes, in Ibadan now. The police people will rather lock you up than the full animal. And that is why people are no longer trusting the security personnel. So I just want to urge our security men to please work on that. So that they can end the trust of the people. That is to put an end to all these jungle justice. Anyway, those that are present should be thoroughly investigated so that the innocent ones among them will not be punished for what they know nothing about. Thank you. Good morning.
Thank you very much.
Well,
All right. Sorry, let's pick this call.
okay.
Sorry. Hello, good morning. You're welcome, ma'am.
Yeah, Ruth calling from Alaka.
It's good to have you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, the removal of military is really a good one, which I must commend the president for that. Because it's really long overdue. I will just urge the new appointed GMD to please find a lasting solution to these issues surrounding the petroleum industry, because this crisis is really, really affecting a common man. So God bless Nigeria. Good morning.
Thank you very much, Ruth. We appreciate your comment. All right, you wanted to say something very
Oh,
quickly?
I want to say, look, where you have a jungle style of governance, there is bound to be jungle justice.
Okay.
You know, when you don't follow the rule of law, even as the people on the at the top, when you feel unprotected and nobody is there to protect you, they say you should go to farm. You are in your farm, you are on your farm, and then somebody came. Look at the case of Monday. Monday, a young graduate, was apprehended by by some bandits. In fact, he overpowered them, get their knife, and killed. Of course, that is in self-protection. They said he should be hanged. He should go to gallows. So, as a Nigerian, will you be so proud of your country? At least your last breath you want to use to save yourself. So when you have jungle system of governance, you feel unprotected, you feel unwanted, they care less about you. I said when they need your vote, then what do you do to save your life at the last minute? That is not to say that we are promoting that, but of course, it is something that bats that particular, the system that bats, that.
All right, we have to go on a break. Thank you very much. When we come back, we'll take more calls, we'll take more reactions.
My people, me and you don't get electricity wahala again. Oh, I see solar don't make and they easy kulele. With this new kind of bonga easy life solar product, we then just carry land with the multi for Ibadan. With this them powerful solar kits, we there for different sizes. Original power stations like a 200 watts, 300 watts, 600 watts. With the inverter embedded solar kit, we get 6 brighter bulbs, an attractive solar radio within charging points. Bona fit take you charge your phones. Correct solar freezer, different lithium batteries, tabular batteries, portable Android projector, different solar inverters, electric motorbike, we sharp as we they sell, we they install. Now so we they repair power solar system and components. OIC. Now the Bonga confirm accredited distributor for all the companies them where they produce original solar product from Obodo Ibo them, big companies, churches, mosque, event center, everybody. Wakago OIC solar company today for shop C4, NTA shopping complex, Agodi Gate, Ibadan. Now so then they for Samsung shopping complex, Ekulodi Junction, New Ife Road Ibadan. Website www.oicsolar.net. For Instagram plus TikTok, OIC Solar 1. Tulu 081 0502 0388. Better light don't come.
Ladies and gentlemen, allow me introduce to you Mama Gold Semolina and Supreme Semolina. Yes! Are you looking for the best pasta and semolina brands for your family? Look no further. The gold standard of pasta and semolina, made from the finest ingredients, is here. A semolina is perfect for making delicious meals. And for spaghetti and macaroni lovers, we have Mama Pride spaghetti and macaroni, Crown Premium spaghetti and macaroni, rich in fiber, vitamins, and made from the best nutritional ingredients. Our pasta is perfect for you. Choose the best for your family. Choose Mama Gold semolina, Supreme semolina, Mama Pride spaghetti, Mama Pride macaroni, Crown Premium spaghetti, and Crown Premium macaroni. And the best part, Crown pasta and semolina is available at a store near you at affordable prices. Be a king and queen in your home. Always with Crown Plus.
Thank you for staying with us. Welcome back from that break. All right, we'll take more of your calls and your reactions. 0705 500 1033, 0905 444-1033. Also on our Facebook page, you can drop your comment at I-FLIER 103.3 FM Live. Hello, good morning.
Good morning. My name is Caleb Alabi from Alakashago.
It's good to have you, sir.
I just want to comment on the shake-up in the NCC. It's long overdue. I'm not saying this because Kiari is from North. I'm saying this because there's a proverb saying a new broom swiftly. And of the newest man, CEO, Bayo Ogulari, we use his wealth of experience to bring sanity into the industry. Secondly, on the issues of the same five major banks are declaring profit. At which expenses? At the expense of manufacturer. Manufacturers are crying woe every day that they are making loss, while the service industry are making huge profit. It's better our government look to do all this unnecessary charges being made by banks, they charge COC, they charge VAT, all these things, SMS alert. If you put a 5,000 banks on it, in 3 months, it will come down to 20,500. That's my comment. Have a nice working day.
You also have a nice day. Thank you very much, Mr. Caleb. I appreciate your comment. All right, let's go on Facebook very quickly. Let's check some Facebook stories. Facebook comment, I beg your pardon. Omadi Adekunle on Facebook says the removal of Mele Kyari is not the only solution to the problems of oil sector in Nigeria, but also ensure that there is total restructuring in the oil sector that will benefit the totality of Nigerians. Thank you very much. Toluwa Lashe Adetola says the renovation of Aleshinoye Market by the Oyo State government is a very good one. I will use this medium to urge everyone, the fire agencies and the market traders, to be very painstaking and more proactive so as to prevent themselves from any similar fatal incidents. Thank you very much. Poluwatife Ademijuwon says, good morning. To restore normalcy in the petroleum sector, we must consider all possible solutions. If replacing Mele Kyari is the answer, then it's worth exploring. The sector's revitalization is crucial, given its significant contribution to Nigeria's economy. We appreciate your comment. Thank you. Mariam Yetunde says, good morning. The people of Uromi taking the law into their own hands is not the ideal way to address the situation. However, I believe that if the federal government had promptly addressed the security issue, the outcome would have been different. I once again urge the federal government to act swiftly in providing maximum security for all. Thank you for your comment. Pastor Dr. Mukala Famiwa says, on Natasha, there is no reason for Kogi government looking for downfall. Government should take it softly and let there be peace in Kogi State. Good morning, all. Thank you very much for your comment. Appreciate you. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
You're welcome, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning. We can hear you. You're welcome.
Yeah, about Jonathan speaking from Olosam.
It's good to have you, sir.
I want to comment on the killings at Uromi. It is very wrong. It's wrong. It's an attitude of Nigerians to lynch people is very wrong. See, what happened that my question that in the 60s and when we were growing up, Fulanis were going about with their nomads, going about with their cows. So we didn't have farmers at that time. Farmers, we don't have a fighting or clashes at that time. So for the 90s, we started hearing about farmers clashes. And if it happened like that, there's something is wrong somewhere. When Buhari came in, he called a stakeholders meeting, how to find solutions to that crisis.
All right, sir.
Farmers and headers. And they came with the conclusion that we need ranching. Solution is ranching. That's what they've done over the world. In South Africa, in China, in Namibia, they do ranching. But we rejected it. People say they don't want ranching, we don't want ranching. What is the solution? We have the problem of killing headers, phone and so on. I guess we are developing. We should copy foreign countries. They do ranching. It's the solution to that problem. If we do ranching, there's no killing. We can't hear fighting of
all right, sir. We appreciate you.
Hello.
Thank you for your comment, sir. Thank you.
In the 50s, there was
all right. Good morning. You're welcome.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, sir. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm comrade from Olodo.
It's good to have you, sir.
I think honorable.
Good morning, my comrade.
You see, what we need is not only the removal of Kyari, but it's an ideological format to favor the masses of this country. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Comrade Kendodo. I appreciate your comment. All right, let's go back to the stories while I search for more comment on our Facebook page. And we'll come to Natasha. Kogi accuses Natasha of inciting violence, urges security agencies to take action. The Kogi state government condemns the allegations made by suspended Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, describing them as reckless, malicious, and utterly false. The government also called on security agencies to monitor Akpoti-Uduaghan's reckless utterances and inflammatory actions, asserting that she should be held accountable for any attempts to incite violence. In a statement issued on Tuesday by the State Commissioner for Information and Communication, Kingsley Fanwu, the government dismissed Akpoti-Uduaghan's claims that Governor Usman Ododo, former Governor Yahaya Bello, and Senate President Godswill Akpabio should be held responsible if anything happens to her. Fanwu described the allegations as another desperate and calculated attempt by an incurable liar and serial manipulator to mislead the public, incite unrest, and present herself as a victim. Still on Natasha, let's put them together. Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan received a rousing welcome from supporters in Kogi State on Tuesday, despite a government ban on rallies and processions. Supporters from Kogi Central's 5 local government areas gathered early in Iyima Oke local government to welcome the embattled PDP lawmaker. Amid music and celebration, she arrived dramatically in a white helicopter, sparking cheers. Addressing the crowd, Akpoti-Uduaghan dismissed the government's restrictions, insisting that she was merely celebrating Salah with her constituents. Are we ever going to end this Natasha issue?
It remains a devastating satire. And, the National Assembly is making it to look like that. You see, when there is an allegation, it is very, very crucial and important to set the record straight. But of course, the National Assembly have been making it so difficult for record to be set straight. And the moment you keep, suppressing, those allegations, and you don't get down to the root, and then you are accusing the other party, then it means justice is not served. So I think it is high time the Senate President submit himself for interrogation. He need to. There must be a level playing ground for him to come out, set his record straight. And of course, in the case of Natasha going for Salah or whatever, yes, it is your right, human right. Yes, and your right is not negotiable. Yes, she has that right. But of course, when it now comes with a kind of, when it's like a whole lot of federal and state apparatus, spending, luxurious, spending valuable time on luxurious matters, like that of the Natasha. I think something is there that they are hiding. And of course, while it is a right, of course, Natasha too, on her part, I think she's suffering from what you call, diarrhea of the mouth. She cannot just stop talking. Okay. And in the game of power, the more you talk, the more you are getting yourself into crisis.
Right.
So it is only, I think what she should do was just to let them know that I understand what is going on. I have my facts.
Okay.
In fact, facts, I have them. So you are sending messages already. So he did not decode things. He set them. So which further put her into problem.
All right. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
You're welcome, sir.
Oh, that is speaking from Makana.
Very quickly, sir.
All over the world, we are with Atata. Let Tinubu free that woman. All gbogbo wa pátápátá ní àgbáyé yìí la wà lẹ́yìn Atata obìnrin yẹn. Kẹ́gbọ́tẹ́nu ẹni tó àkíyèsí náà ṣé lọ́ ní